We created MetaMetrics in 1984, and MetaMetrics is a research organization. And the genesis for why we created MetaMetrics was I was teaching in the teacher education program at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And I'm also a parent. I have 3 children. And I was very concerned, as well as my colleague and co-founder, Jack Stenner, that the test scores that go home to parents and go home to students were not actionable. We created MetaMetrics to make measurement meaningful, to bring meaning to measurement. And so the first construct that we worked with was reading. And because reading is such an important skill, we focused on reading, and we created the Lexile framework for reading. You can think about the Lexile framework for reading from 2 perspectives. One perspective, it's a measure of text complexity. How difficult is something to read? We looked at the vocabulary, we looked at syntactic structures, and we developed a formula that measures any text, so any book, any article, any prose that's written, we can measure its complexity. Second way you can think about the Lexile framework is we also, just like we can measure text and put it on the Lexile scale, we can also measure students, learners, and give them a Lexile measure. So you can take a test that reports out in Lexiles, and you will get a Lexile measure. When you have Lexile measures on students, then you can find the appropriate material for them at the right challenge. And that's really why we created the Lexile framework, was to help teachers and parents to find the instructional material that would help their students or their child continue to grow their literacy skills. And the best way to do that is matching up and paying attention to the text complexity and the reading ability of the student. I think one of the reasons that MetaMetrics has been successful is that we have responded to needs of classroom teachers, educators. So often teachers are overwhelmed with the diversity of students, the demands of teaching. Teaching is a rigorous career. My hat goes off to all educators. And we've always respected that teachers are our most important asset in terms of education. And so what we tried to do was to respond to teachers and help them with technologies and tools that help them do what they do, which is to educate children. And the Lexile framework is simply a tool that helps teachers in terms of supporting literacy instruction with their students. I think education. When I look back in my life, the most significant people in my life have been educators. My parents were teachers. My father was a teacher, my mother was a teacher. At different points in my life, different teachers have made a difference in my life, both from elementary school, through middle school, through high school, and even into college. And so I wanted to have that same kind of, where I helped teachers make a difference. And so education's always been a very powerful motivation for me and what I'm passionate about. I believe it's the most important thing we can focus on is education of our children. I think they're all critically important. In today's globally connected environment, you have to have all of those skills. Literacy is a foundational skill. It is the underpinning of every skill that we talk about. It's hard to move up into Bloom's taxonomy and to the higher order skills or to any of these skills without a basic literacy. It's a foundational. Most students that when they graduate may switch careers 7 to 10 times. And to do that, do that successfully, you're going to have a great education. And a great education isn't restricted to just a few certain skill sets. You have to have all of those skills that you're talking about. You have to be able to be literate, and you have to be able to read, write, listen, and speak in multiple languages. The days where you could just speak in one language are over in a globally connected environment. And so I think all of those skills are hugely important. When you meet with public policy and government officials, everybody is concerned about our students being prepared for the demands of the college, universities, and careers, because we compete in a global society. And as we become more and more knowledge workers, being able to make sure that our students, when they graduate from high school, are prepared for the rigors of college and careers, every nation is focused on that, and I think rightfully so, because that's a very important area to focus on. I think we're at the dawn of an exciting day. In some respects, I'm frightened, and in some respects, I'm more excited than I've ever been. With digital content and all of the new resources coming, I think we can do a much better job than we have done historically on personalized learning, individualized learning, learning over the web, so that we can truly democratize opportunity. There are many places in the world where a student doesn't get to have a teacher like maybe we have in your country and my country. And through web-based technologies and digital content, I think we'll be able to do a much better job than we've been able to do. Now, I think it's some challenges, because anytime you bring things to the classroom, professional development is going to be hugely important. And we need to focus on making sure that we're providing professional development at the highest level to teachers so they can use these technologies that we're bringing. So just pushing the technologies out without doing the professional development could be a big problem. And I'm concerned that with so many of the technologies that we have, that we don't inundate teachers with so much, but we train them on how to use the technology and that they're comfortable with the technology. Historically, we didn't look at education from a longitudinal perspective. That is, everything was segmented. There was early education, middle education, public education, higher education. And I think that's a mistake. We need to view education as lifelong. We have viewed students as, whether in the 4th grade, the 5th grade, and everybody gets the same thing at the same time. And today, with where we sit in terms of digital content, psychometric theory, and all the things coming together, those days we don't have to teach like we've done for the last 100 years. We can change those paradigms, take a longitudinal perspective, and bring the best of technology so that every student is getting what they need at the right time, and the right content, and so it's more personalized than what we've been able to do historically. Historically, we've been treating everybody the same, and we can do a lot better than that. I don't know that I recommend a teaching methodology. What I think we have to be is very student-centric, and we need to focus on what the student's needs are. And I think there are different methodologies for doing that, but I think in the core, we need to focus on the student and the student's needs, and also empower the student to take ownership for his or her own learning. We need to be able to let students see their growth and see that they're growing, and let them own some of the responsibility for their growth and to manage that growth as well.